Okay, if you're running Kubernetes in production, you're going to want to listen up. We need to talk about Ingress NGINX because one of the most popular tools in the entire ecosystem has been retired. And what you need to do about it is, well, frankly, it's urgent.
Let's just cut right to the chase. A critical part of your cluster, the front door for all your traffic, is now a known, unpatched security risk. That's right, the community project that so many of us rely on is no longer being maintained. That means no more bug fixes and, most importantly, zero security patches going forward.
And look, this isn't some far-off problem you can put on the back burner. The retirement was announced way back in November of 2025. Maintenance officially stopped in March 2026. So if you haven't migrated yet, you are, right now, running on software that's vulnerable and totally unsupported. The clock hasn't just started ticking, it's already run out.
But it's not all doom and gloom. The community didn't just abandon ship. They actually built a clear, official, and honestly, a much, much better path forward. So the big question we're going to answer right now is, what exactly is that migration plan?
Before we jump into the how-to, I think it's really important to understand why this even happened. Because this story, it's about way more than just one project. It's really a lesson about the challenges of keeping open-source software alive.
For years, this incredibly important project was basically kept alive by just one or two volunteer maintainers. Just let that sink in for a second. The front door to countless production apps was being held open by a couple of people in their spare time. That's wild.
And on top of that, there was zero dedicated corporate funding. No company was stepping up to foot the bill. So you have this massive, critical project with basically no resources and no paid staff. It just wasn't sustainable.
And that right there, that really sums it all up. The whole Ingress NGINX situation is a huge cautionary tale. It shows just how fragile things can be when we rely on under-resourced volunteer projects for our critical infrastructure.
So what you had was pretty much a perfect storm. You had the obvious maintainer burnout, the code itself was old and full of technical debt, making it risky to even touch, and then there was this major security hole, the snippets feature, which was a huge attack vector that couldn't really be fixed. They tried to build a successor, called Ingate, but it just never took off. Retirement was really the only responsible choice.
But that story has a really positive next chapter, because rising from the ashes of Ingress NGINX is its official, modern, and much more powerful successor, the Kubernetes Gateway API.
Now, the Gateway API isn't just a copy-paste replacement. It is a complete rethink of how traffic routing should work in Kubernetes. It's a stable, official part of Kubernetes now, and it was designed from the ground up to be more powerful, more flexible, and a whole lot more secure.
And this is where it gets really smart. The Gateway API breaks up that one giant Ingress object into three separate role-based pieces. You've got the Gateway class for your cloud provider or infra team, the Gateway for your platform ops team, and then HTTP routes for the app developers. This separation is a huge win for security and just letting teams work without stepping on each other's toes.
So you might be thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but is it really worth the effort to migrate? Oh yeah, it's a fundamental upgrade. Let's just put them head to head.
You know, at a high level, the difference is night and day. With Ingress, if you wanted to do anything remotely advanced, you were stuck using a bunch of vendor-specific annotations. You were locked in. And everybody, devs, ops, everyone, had to mess with this one giant resource. Gateway API? It's a standard, portable spec with all those advanced features built right in. Plus, you get that clean role-based separation we just talked about.
And this table just makes it crystal clear. Portability? Gateway API wins, hands down. No more annotation mess. Role separation? Again, a huge win for Gateway API. How about advanced stuff like traffic splitting or header matching? It's native to Gateway API. It was a hack in Ingress. And security? Well, Gateway API was designed specifically to avoid dangerous things like that snippets feature. It's just a better tool, period. Okay, I'm hoping you're convinced. You know you need to migrate. So, what's the game plan? Let's walk through the actual actionable steps.
First up, remember, the Gateway API is just the rulebook. You still need an actual controller to enforce the rules. And you've got choices. If you want the absolute smoothest migration path, tools like Traffic or HA Proxy are fantastic. If you're running at a massive scale, you might look at Envoy Gateway or K-Gateway. And hey, if your team just loves NGINX, F5 has you covered with the NGINX Gateway Fabric.
Now, the process itself is surprisingly clean, and it's built to be safe. Step 1. Double-check you're actually using the community version. 2. Install the new API definitions and your shiny new controller. 3. Use a fantastic tool to automatically convert your old configs. 4, and this is the most important part, you run the new controller at the same time as the old one, so you can test everything without any downtime. And finally, step 5, you just flip your DNS over to the new IP and shut the old one down.
Let's just focus on that third step for a second, because this tool is your new best friend. It's a command line utility called Ingress Gateway. You point it at your old Ingress configs, and it literally spits out the new gateway and HTTP route YAML for you. It automates what would be a super tedious and error-prone job. All right, so let's wrap this all up. What do you absolutely need to remember? 1. The community Ingress NGINX is done. It's unpatched. 2. Gateway API is the official and much better replacement. 3. It gives you real benefits like portability, better security, and a sane way for teams to work together. 4. You can do the migration safely by running both controllers side by side. And 5. That Ingress to Gateway tool is your secret weapon.
So that just leaves us with one final and pretty critical question. The deadline is in the rearview mirror, the risk is real, and it's sitting in your cluster right now. You just have to ask yourself, is my production infrastructure built on a foundation that is actually supported and secure? If there's even a chance the answer is no, well, you know what you need to do